There are about 57 characters within the game, with many having dramatic and gripping stories. I covered one of the stories about the kind man who reveals that he had a lover who died in a tragedy, which taught him a valuable lesson to not take life and each second for granted, as one could never know when the loved ones leave us. In this video, I will go over some unique guest interactions and some special cutscenes. There's a bald character with a backpack who refers to himself as a traveler. He doesn't ask to come into the house and only seems to be there to help the protagonist for some unknown reason. His conversations are bizarre and mysterious, and he speaks in riddles. As he first appears, he seems healthy and well-fed. He advises the protagonist to let a specific cat into the house, as it will be the cause for the protagonist's redemption. As days go on, he reveals that the cat will reveal the passage into the secret basement, which will lead to an underground tunnel, and in there, he will find a hole. This hole will be the secret to the protagonist's redemption. As days go on and this messenger keeps on visiting the protagonist, he visibly becomes unhealthier, thinner, and weaker. He mentions that his memory and eyesight are failing him and he is being drained by her. It's unclear who he refers to. But this is directly connected to one of the many endings where the protagonist goes into the underground tunnel and finds a hole. Jumping in the hole will lead to a surreal world with shallow water, where the protagonist meets a godly deity known as Death, who places the protagonist into a serene and peaceful world, similar to his own house, but all alone and away from noise and chaos. This character and the cat are directly connected to another interesting guest. This guest can be labeled as the cat lady, who makes unintelligible sentences. She starts by asking if the protagonist is open or not, as if being a store. When asked why she came to the house and how, she simply responds by saying that she is a ballet dancer and that she would maybe dance for the protagonist. When asked if she is a human, she simply responds that what if she is not, implying that she is a visitor. And then she goes on a rant about how she is a ballerina. When invited in, she doesn't hide the fact that she is in fact a visitor, and even reveals that she brought the cat in. And what else the protagonist wants? She is unlike a visitor, as if trying to help the protagonist, which makes it very interesting. So by the sounds of it, not all infected humans by these brain parasites are hostile or evil. If you have watched my previous videos, we went over the secrets of the story and how certain brain parasites are causing humans to become visitors, and that they are not aliens or other non-human entities that we previously thought. And as we heard from the intruder or the super visitor, he takes orders and is part of a society. So taking all that into consideration, the brain parasites are intelligent sentient beings who take control of human host bodies, and they don't seem to be all in agreement, as some have formed their own communities while some other are doing their own thing. In this case, the cat lady seems to be even used as a vessel to bring the cat to the protagonist. Anyway, as we try to shoot this visitor, she actually starts controlling her body in an unhuman and discomforting way, referring to it as being ballet dance. So after all, she does dance ballet for us. Just before being shot, she explains that she is tired and rotting from within, so she accepts her fate of dying, even though not being too happy about it. So maybe this lady still has some remnant of her consciousness left while being infected by a brain parasite, as she specifically mentions that she is rotting from within. So that is maybe why she brought the cat and chose to be shot, so that she can be freed from her doomed fate. Or even a crazier theory is that maybe the parasitic worm in her brain is actually siding with the humans, seeing how cruel the other brain parasites are, so it decides to actually be on the good side. So it shows that they have a very broad and diverse intelligence and sentience. Another unique character is a guy who wears a FEMA hazmat suit without a helmet. He insists that he is not with FEMA and implies that he found the suit while being stained in blood and covered in grime. He begs to be let in and take a shower and get rid of the suit, as he doesn't like it and everyone else seems afraid of it. Letting this person in, we force him to empty his pockets, pointing the gun at him, when eventually he reveals that he used to work with FEMA, showing his FEMA identification card. He is hesitant and anxious, as if something bothers him. He then pours his heart out that he was just following orders by gathering people up and putting them into the quarantine zones, and he implies without saying it that he killed people, not even knowing who they are, but being almost certain that they were all innocent. All he did was to follow the orders of the higher-ups. He explains that he left cause he couldn't cope with a guilty conscience and now he is trying to wipe his past, starting a new life. This directly aligns with an ending where the protagonist joins FEMA, explaining how his identity is taken away and he is part of a brutal killing machine where he sees death and destruction on a daily basis. We could already assume FEMA wasn't a good agency, as they took guests by force and never returned them. Then, the massacre of the people in the quarantine zones, blaming it on the vigilante gunmen, and then at the end, they topple down the government and take over the media. Next up, we have the coat guy, who I used to think to be a woman. As I can't deny, he does look like a woman. Anyway, he is very peculiar and complains about being cold and that the heat doesn't bother him. He covers himself up in multiple layers and a muffler, yet he keeps saying that he feels cold despite the burning heat outside. This man stutters and explains that he wishes that he could die, just wanting a peaceful and quiet place to rest. He even asks if the protagonist could shoot him. Entering the house, he shares his secret by pulling his shirt up, revealing that he has an active black hole in his stomach. Doing so kills everyone within the room. As the protagonist points the gun at him, he sees it as mercy, as he won't feel lonely and cold anymore, as he feels to be cursed. And clearly by the dialogue and the looks on him, he doesn't want people to die when lifting his shirt up. It's a little strange with this character, as he isn't trying to hide that he is a visitor. This brain parasite seems to have some supernatural side effect, causing the man to have a black hole in his stomach, always killing people who see it. It is so devastating for him that he wishes that he didn't live anymore. So what kind of parasite would want this? If anything, it seems as if there's still some remnants of consciousness within this man, or maybe the entire consciousness, as he seems mentally unaffected and fully aware. He knows that he has an issue and even tries to resolve it by having his life taken. Next character who is a human who faces a tragic end is a teacher who cared deeply about her students who died horrifying deaths. The tragic story of her past, which left her with severe trauma, made her feel powerless and weak, wanting desperately to find someone just to speak to. When knocking on the door, she explains that she just wants a pair of listening ears to pour all her pain and trauma on, or at least have someone to lean on for a short while. She reveals that she used to teach at a kindergarten in a small town. She loved the kids and wanted to provide them with safety, love, and compassion. The problem is, people are selfish and only care about themselves. The news of the visitor spread like wildfire, causing panic and fear, which eventually led to the townsfolk spreading a rumor that the kids are strange and that they might be visitors. That's when they locked all the doors and boarded up the windows, setting the kindergarten on fire, while making the teacher watch the kids burn alive. All the teacher could do was just to watch in terror, watching their innocent little eyes staring back in fear. When we let her in, she can't cope with the guilt and what future beholds her, with only violence, fear, and guilt. That's when she reaches out for the protagonist's gun and steals it, ending it right then. This is one of the saddest and most tragic side stories of a character within the game. We have another character, someone who doesn't have any eyeballs. Talking to him, he describes seeing something so horrifying, so large and monstrous that he couldn't risk seeing it again. He pulled his own eyeballs out just to never lay eyes on it. Asking if he talks about the Pale Man, he chuckles, saying what he saw doesn't even compare slightly. Maybe this entity is what runs the Order, giving the likes of the Pale Man missions to go on adventures and kill people. This entity, it is a life eater. Letting this man in, the fear of this entity that he saw never leaves him. He dreams about the thing and seems to have some sort of lingering trauma, as if being some sort of PTSD. And unfortunately, he cannot cope with this fear and ends it all. The woman who carries the corpse of her husband comes in just wanting to rest for a little while. She is madly in love with her husband and doesn't seem ready to move on. She explains the story of how they met, with the husband learning just one song on the guitar to specifically impress her at a party. Ever since, they just fell in love more and more. And this is another tragic story where she lost the better half of herself, and we get a picture of them. Another interesting character is the Sun guy, who always makes conspiracies about Sun and Fima, and strangely addresses the protagonist, calling him human all the time as if being a visitor or an alien himself. He is tense and even unleashes on the protagonist, but when offered a beer, he calms down all of a sudden and considers the protagonist as a friend, and then reveals that he remembers the good old times, how he would hang out in a bar and drink, revealing that he is just a human who has dependency on alcohol. Seductive lady. I already went over this character in all endings explained. She is the only character that stays and sleeps in the protagonist's bed, suggesting that they have intimate relations. She is soft-spoken and listens to the protagonist's most troubling thoughts and memories. Despite being kind and comforting, she changes at night, with her belly growing as if trying to give birth. In the mornings, she becomes combative and defensive, denying what happens at nights, trying to make the protagonist feel crazy and abusive, even gaslighting him, saying that he is just like his father, using his trauma and bad memories against him, being a manipulator and using his weakness and what he entrusted to her just to hurt him. That's when eventually her stomach pops, unveiling that she was a visitor, who then gives birth to a child who is supposed to bring misery and horrors beyond imagination to Earth. If the protagonist kills the fetus, he becomes crucified as a messiah, prayed to by people, being their savior by dying for their sins. There are some other characters who directly are related to different endings. These are the Mushroom Guy, the Vigilante, and the Cultists. But as I have already covered them in another video, I won't go over them again. These were some of the most unique characters within the game. Are there any more that I should have gone over? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, it's been your host Star. Thanks for being here, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.